Mars was quiet, very quiet. No wind sound, no birds, no life, only red dust and endless silence. Far away from Earth, a machine was about to face the most dangerous moment of its life. Its name was Curiosity. On Earth, inside a control room, hundreds of scientists were watching their screens. They were not talking. They were not smiling. They were waiting. This was not a normal landing. This was a desperate call to the unknown. Curiosity was not just a robot. It was humanity's hope. Years earlier, scientists asked a big question. Was Mars ever alive? No human could go there. Mars was too far, too cold, too dangerous, so they built a robot, a smart robot, a strong robot. They named it Curiosity. Curiosity was sent with one mission: find the truth about Mars. But now, that mission was in danger. Curiosity was flying toward Mars at very high speed. Faster than a bullet, faster than sound. No human could control it now. Why? Because Mars was too far away. Any signal from Earth took 14 minutes to reach Mars. Any signal from Mars took 14 minutes to come back. That meant one thing: Curiosity was alone. As Curiosity entered Mars' atmosphere, fire covered its body. The temperature was extreme, hot enough to destroy metal. If the heat shield failed, the mission would end in seconds. On Earth, scientists could only watch old data. They could not help, they could not stop it. Every second felt like a minute. Every minute felt like an hour. This was called the 7 minutes of terror. Curiosity was falling fast. The red planet was getting closer. Too fast. If it hit the surface like this, it would crash and break into pieces. A parachute had to open. If the parachute failed, everything was lost. Seconds passed. Then suddenly, the parachute opened. But the danger was not over. Mars' air is very thin, much thinner than Earth. The parachute alone was not enough. Curiosity was still falling. The heat shield dropped away. Curiosity could now see Mars for the first time. Red land, dark shadows, deep craters. There was no turning back. Engines started firing. Slowly, carefully. Then something never tried before was about to happen. The sky crane. Curiosity was too heavy to land like other rovers, so engineers designed a risky system. A flying platform would lower Curiosity using cables. If one cable broke, if one engine failed, the mission would be over. Curiosity was hanging in the air, lowering slowly. Dust was flying everywhere. On Earth, scientists were holding their breath. No one spoke. No one moved. Then the cables touched the ground. Curiosity's wheels felt Mars for the first time. The cables were cut. The sky crane flew away and crashed far from the rover. Curiosity was standing, alone, on Mars. But Earth did not know this yet. 14 minutes, that is how long the truth takes to travel. Those 14 minutes were the longest moments in human history. Then a signal arrived, just one word. Touchdown. The control room exploded with emotion. Some people cried, some laughed, some fell to the floor in relief. Curiosity was alive, but this was only the beginning. Curiosity looked around. A cold world, a silent world. The sky was dusty, the land was empty. No welcome, no sign of life, just questions, big questions. Curiosity sent its first image to Earth, not a beautiful photo, just a simple black and white picture. But to scientists, it was everything. It meant the desperate call had been answered. Humanity had reached Mars. Curiosity did not sleep. It checked its systems, its wheels, its cameras, its tools. Everything was working, but danger was still everywhere. Radiation from space, sharp rocks, freezing nights. One mistake could end the mission. Curiosity was built to explore, to climb hills, to drill rocks, to read the story of Mars. But Mars does not give answers easily. It hides its secrets deep inside. Curiosity would have to search, day after day, alone, millions of kilometers away from home. On Earth, scientists sent one final message. Begin mission. Curiosity received the command. It did not feel fear, it did not feel hope, but its journey would change how humans see the universe forever. Mars was no longer just a red dot in the sky, it was a destination. And Curiosity had answered the desperate call. Time was moving, but for the people on Earth it felt frozen. Curiosity had landed on Mars, but no one celebrated yet. Why? Because silence is dangerous. Mars does not speak loudly. It kills quietly. Curiosity was standing on the red ground, but danger was still everywhere. One wrong move, one hidden problem, and the mission could end. The rover waited. It did not move. It did not roll forward. It listened. On Earth, scientists stared at their screens. Green lights meant life. Red lights meant failure. Each system was checked one by one. Power system, communication system, computer system. Everything had to be perfect. Because Curiosity was not a simple machine. It was a mobile laboratory. Curiosity was carrying delicate tools. Very delicate. Cameras, lasers, drills. If even one tool failed, years of planning would be wasted. Mars is cold. Very cold. At night, temperatures drop extremely low, cold enough to break metal. Curiosity had to survive its first Martian night. Night slowly covered Mars. The sun disappeared. Darkness took over. Curiosity stood still, alone in the freezing cold. No human voice, no instructions, just silence. Inside the rover, heaters turned on. They protected the computer brain. Power was precious. Curiosity could not waste energy. Every action was planned carefully. Mars does not forgive mistakes. The first night passed. Curiosity survived, but Mars was still testing it. Morning came with dust in the air. Thin sunlight touched the rover's cameras. Curiosity woke up again. It was time to see. Slowly, Curiosity lifted its camera. Click. The first clear color image of Mars appeared. Red soil, small rocks, a distant hill. The image traveled across space. 14 minutes later, it reached Earth. Scientists smiled. Mars was real, but Curiosity did not come to take pictures. It came to ask a question. Did Mars ever have life? To answer that, Curiosity had to move. Before moving, Curiosity checked the ground. Mars soil is tricky. Looks soft but can be hard. It looks strong but can collapse. One wrong step could trap the rover forever. Curiosity planned its first drive. Just a few centimeters, very slow, very careful. The wheels turned, dust moved. Curiosity moved forward. It was the first drive on Mars. On Earth, people cheered quietly, but Curiosity did not stop. It had work to do. Curiosity used a laser for the first time. A laser strong enough to hit rocks from far away. The rock exploded into dust. The rover studied the dust. Inside that dust were answers. Mars rocks are like history books. They tell stories of fire, stories of water, stories of time. Curiosity began reading those stories, slowly, patiently, but Mars is unpredictable. Dust storms can block sunlight. Radiation can damage systems. Sharp rocks can cut wheels. Curiosity was walking on a knife's edge. Days passed, then weeks. Curiosity climbed small slopes. It crossed rough ground. Each movement was a risk. Each day was a victory. Scientists began to notice something strange. The soil had patterns, the rocks had shapes, shapes that looked familiar. Could this be a sign, not of life itself but of water? Water changes everything. Where there is water, there is possibility. Curiosity followed the clues, toward a place called Gale Crater, a place that may have held water billions of years ago. But the journey was long, very long. Curiosity moved slowly, only a few meters per day. Mars was testing its patience. One day, Curiosity found something unusual. Small round stones, smooth stones, stones shaped by flowing water. This was not normal for a dry planet. Scientists on Earth went silent. This was important, very important. Curiosity had not found life, but it found proof. Proof that Mars was once alive in another way. Alive with rivers, alive with lakes, alive with movement. Mars was hiding a past, and Curiosity had just opened the first page. But the biggest secrets were still ahead. Deep inside the planet, waiting. Curiosity stopped and looked forward. The path was dangerous. The mission was risky, but turning back was not an option. The rover moved on, because the search had just begun. Mars does not give secrets easily. It hides them. Deep, silent, patient. Curiosity was not rushing. It was learning how to survive. Every day on Mars was a test. The rover moved slowly across the red land. Each wheel turn was planned. Each stop had a reason. Curiosity was searching for something invisible, the past. From far away, Mars looks dead, dry, empty, but up close the ground tells a different story. Curiosity looked at rocks carefully, not with eyes but with science. Some rocks were sharp, broken by force. Others were smooth, rounded. Smooth rocks are not made by wind alone. They need time, they need movement, they need water. Curiosity stopped near a small group of stones. Round stones, small, smooth, like stones found near rivers on Earth. This was strange, very strange. Mars had no rivers today, so how did these stones become like this? Curiosity took pictures. Many pictures, close pictures. The images traveled to Earth. 14 minutes of waiting. Then silence. Then shock. Scientists stared at the screens. No one spoke, because they knew something important had been found. These stones were shaped by flowing water, not ice, not wind, flowing water, strong enough to move rocks, strong enough to change land. This was not a guess, it was evidence. Mars had rivers long ago. Curiosity did not celebrate. It continued working, because one clue is not enough. Mars is clever. It can fool the eye, so Curiosity searched deeper. The rover used its laser again. A powerful laser. It fired at a rock. The rock burned. Dust came out. Curiosity studied the dust. Inside the dust were tiny details. Chemical signs, hidden signs. The data showed something unexpected. Clay minerals. Clay forms only with water. Not for minutes, not for days, but for long periods of time. This meant Mars was wet for a very long time. Curiosity had crossed a line. Mars was not always dry. Mars was not always cold. Mars was once friendly, but friendly does not mean alive. Not yet. Curiosity needed more proof. The rover began climbing slowly, toward a slope, toward layers of rock. Rock layers are like pages of a book. Each layer tells a different time, older at the bottom, younger at the top. Curiosity wanted to read the oldest pages. As it climbed, the land changed. Colors changed. Textures changed. This meant the environment changed. Mars was evolving, just like Earth. Curiosity drilled into a rock, a deep drill. The first time a robot drilled on Mars. Powder came out. That powder was analyzed. The results were surprising. The rock had the right chemicals for life. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, the basic building blocks. But something was missing: energy. Life needs energy. On Earth, the sun helps. On Mars, long ago, something else helped. Water mixed with rocks. Chemical reactions. Energy without sunlight. This kind of environment can support life. Small life, simple life, not animals, not humans, but microbes. Curiosity had not found life, but it found a place where life could exist. That was a big moment, a very big moment. Mars was no longer just maybe. Mars was possible, but Mars did not stay friendly. Over time, something went wrong. The atmosphere became thin. The water disappeared. Radiation attacked the surface. Mars changed, and life, if it ever existed, could not survive. Curiosity looked at the sky, a pale orange sky, thin, weak. Earth's sky was strong, protective. Mars lost that protection. Why, that was the next mystery. Curiosity stored its data, sent it back to Earth, slowly, carefully. The story of Mars was being rewritten, but the rover knew something else. The most important secrets were not here, they were higher. Inside the mountain. Mount Sharp, that mountain was tall, very tall, layer by layer. Time stacked on time, billions of years. Curiosity turned its cameras toward it. The journey would be long, dangerous, slow, but necessary. Mars had spoken once, very softly, and Curiosity was listening. The first secret was out, but the second secret was waiting, hidden deeper, darker, older. Curiosity moved forward, because the past of Mars was no longer silent long ago. Mars was not silent, it was not dry, it was not empty. Curiosity was now walking on land that once had a different story, a living story. The rover moved slowly near the base of a giant mountain. This mountain was not just rock, it was time, layer after layer. Each layer was a memory of Mars. Curiosity stopped and looked carefully. The ground here was different. The rocks were flat, thin, stacked like pages. This was not made by fire. This was made by water. Water does not rush, it stays, it settles, it leaves marks, and those marks were everywhere. Curiosity scanned the rocks. The data traveled to Earth. 14 minutes later, scientists leaned forward. They saw something special. The rocks showed calm water, not fast rivers, not violent floods, but quiet lakes. Lakes that stayed for a long time. This changed everything. Fast water can come and go. But calm water means stability, time, a safe place. A place where life could start. Curiosity drilled again. Carefully, slowly. The drill went deep into ancient rock. Powder came out, gray powder, old powder. Inside the powder were salts, minerals, chemical fingerprints. They told a clear story. Water was once here, fresh water, not too salty, not too acidic, safe. Mars had the right conditions, not for a moment, but for millions of years. Curiosity had found the truth. Mars was once friendly. On Earth, scientists felt something strange. Not joy, not fear, but respect. Mars was not a dead world, it was a fallen world. Curiosity looked around. The land was quiet now, the lakes were gone, the rivers were dry, but the memory remained. Why did Mars lose everything? That was the next question. Curiosity studied the sky. Mars had a weak sky, thin, almost broken. Earth's sky protects life. Mars lost that shield. Long ago, Mars had a strong magnetic field. Like Earth, it protected the planet. But over time, Mars cooled, its core slowed. The shield disappeared, the sun became dangerous. Solar winds hit Mars directly, slowly, patiently. They pushed the air away. They stole the atmosphere. Without air, water could not stay. It escaped into space or froze underground. Mars became cold, dry, silent. Curiosity was standing on the edge of that loss, a witness to history. The rover continued climbing. Higher layers meant newer time. Curiosity was moving forward, but also backward, into the past. Each new layer told a sadder story. Less water, more dust, more damage. Mars was dying slowly. Curiosity found cracks in rocks. Cracks filled with minerals. These cracks formed when water disappeared. When the land dried. Mars did not die in one day, it faded. Curiosity paused, its camera pointed toward the horizon. Mount Sharp stood tall, silent, watching. That mountain held billions of years. Answers still locked inside. Curiosity was small, very small, but it carried the voice of Earth. The rover sent another message, more data, more proof. Mars was once alive in its own way, but Curiosity also found a warning. Planets can change, even friendly ones. Earth was listening, learning, watching its neighbors past, to protect its own future. Curiosity did not feel pride. It did not feel sadness, but its work touched human hearts. Mars was not just a target now, it was a lesson. As the sun set, long shadows covered the land. The rover stood still, saving power, thinking in code. Tomorrow the climb would continue. The danger would increase, sharp rocks, steep slopes, radiation. But Curiosity would move forward because the story was not finished. Mars had water. Mars had time. Mars had a chance. And somewhere in its deep history, Mars may have had life. Curiosity rolled slowly ahead, toward the next secret. Toward the unknown. Mars did not die suddenly. It faded, slowly, quietly, without warning. Curiosity was now climbing higher. Each meter forward was a step deeper into Mars' tragedy. Long ago, Mars was strong. It had air, it had water, it had protection. That protection was invisible, a shield. This shield was called a magnetic field. Earth still has it. Mars once had it too. A magnetic field protects a planet. It blocks dangerous energy from the sun. It keeps air close, it keeps water safe. Without it, a planet is exposed. Curiosity could not see the shield, but it could see the damage, everywhere. The rocks told a painful story. Older layers showed water. Newer layers showed dryness. Something had changed. Something had gone wrong. Deep inside Mars, the core was cooling. Very slowly. As the core cooled, it stopped moving. And when it stopped moving, the shield disappeared. Mars was naked, unprotected. The sun did not attack quickly, it was patient. Solar winds hit Mars every day. Strong winds, invisible winds, they pushed Mars' air away. Little by little. Curiosity studied the atmosphere. It was thin. Very thin, too weak to protect life, too weak to hold water. Water needs pressure. Air gives pressure. No air, no water. Rivers dried, lakes vanished. Oceans never returned. Some water escaped into space. Some froze underground. Mars became cold. Empty. Curiosity looked at the ground, cracks everywhere, signs of stress, signs of loss. Mars tried to hold on for a while, but time was stronger. Radiation hit the surface freely. Day and night. Year after year, anything alive on the surface would not survive. If life ever existed, it had only two choices: hide underground or disappear forever. Curiosity searched for radiation signs. It carried special sensors. These sensors showed dangerous levels. Levels humans could not survive, not without protection. Mars was no longer friendly, it was hostile. On Earth, scientists understood something important. Mars was not a failed planet, it was a warning. Earth and Mars were once similar, same age, same type. But one small difference changed everything. Earth kept its shield. Mars lost it. Curiosity continued climbing. Higher ground. Newer time. More damage. Less hope. The rocks here were dry, brittle, sharp. No signs of calm water. Only wind. Only dust. Dust storms became stronger over time. Without water, nothing held the soil. Mars turned red, not from blood, but from rust. Iron in the soil reacted with air. Mars rusted, like old metal, like a forgotten machine. Curiosity paused. Its wheels were worn, its body covered in dust, but it kept working. The rover was not just studying Mars, it's recording a loss, a planetary death. Mars did not scream, it did not explode, it simply stopped being alive. Curiosity sent more data to Earth, graphs, numbers, evidence. Mars lost its shield, and with it its future, but something interesting remained. Even after losing everything, Mars still kept memories. Hidden deep below the surface. Curiosity knew this, and that is why it kept moving. Because if life ever survived, it would be underground, protected, waiting. Curiosity turned its cameras forward. Mount Sharp was still ahead, tall, ancient, full of unanswered questions. Mars had lost its shield, but not all its secrets. The rover moved again, slow, steady, determined. Mars had fallen, but its story was not finished, yet Curiosity was not built to feel. But if it could feel, it would feel alone. Mars was quiet again. No water sound, no movement. Only wind pushing dust across empty land. Curiosity stood in the middle of it all. A small machine, on a very large planet. Millions of kilometers away, Earth was alive, people talked, people laughed, people slept. Curiosity had none of that. Every day on Mars followed the same pattern. Wake up, check systems, listen for commands, then work. Curiosity did not choose where to go. Humans did, but humans were far away, very far away. Every command took time. 14 minutes to reach Mars. 14 minutes to return. That meant Curiosity could not ask for help. It had to decide many things alone. The rover moved slowly. Its wheels were tired. Sharp rocks had damaged them. Small holes appeared. Each hole was a reminder there would be no repair. On Earth, a broken machine can be fixed. On Mars, damage is forever. Curiosity learned to be careful. It chose safer paths. It avoided sharp stones. It moved like an old explorer, slow, wise. The nights were the hardest. Temperatures dropped very low. Cold tried to break metal. Electronics hated the cold. Curiosity stayed still at night, saving power. Heaters worked quietly inside, protecting its brain. Above Curiosity, the sky was thin. Stars were sharp and bright. No clouds, no moon, just space. Radiation fell freely. Nothing blocked it. Curiosity measured it every day. The numbers were high, dangerous. If a human stood here, they would not last long. Mars reminded Curiosity of this. Every single day, dust storms came without warning. The sky turned dark. The sun disappeared. Power dropped. Curiosity waited, patient, still trusting its design. Days passed, weeks passed, years passed. Curiosity kept working. Beyond expectations, beyond promises. The rover was built for 2 years. It worked much longer. Mars had not broken it. Yet, Curiosity continued climbing Mount Sharp. Higher ground. Older stories. Each layer showed a different Mars. Some layers showed hope, others showed loss. Mars had many faces. Curiosity drilled again, even with damaged wheels, even with aging parts. It never stopped. Every new discovery traveled to Earth. Slow signals, long waits, but humans listened. Curiosity was alone, but it was not forgotten. On Earth, children learned its name. Scientists trusted its data. Curiosity became more than a machine. It became a symbol of patience, of bravery, of exploration. Mars tested Curiosity many times. Once its computer froze, it stopped responding. Earth waited in fear. Minutes felt like hours, then a signal arrived. Curiosity was back, still alive, still working. Mars had tried again and failed. Curiosity did not know fear, but its survival felt like courage. The rover watched dust devils dance, tall spirals of dust. Mars had weather, strange weather. Curiosity recorded everything, even beauty, even silence. One day Curiosity looked back. Its tracks were still visible, thin lines in red dust. Proof that it was there, proof that it moved. Those tracks would last a long time. Mars does not erase easily. Curiosity knew its power would one day fade. Its systems would slow. Its work would end. But until that moment, it would continue. Because Curiosity was not sent to return, it was sent to discover. Alone, silent, faithful, Mars had lost its life. But Curiosity gave it a voice. A small machine on a dead world, telling a story for all humanity. Curiosity rolled forward again, toward another layer, toward another question. The lonely machine kept moving. Because the mission was not over. Curiosity was never meant to be famous. It was built to work, to collect data, to send numbers. But something unexpected happened. Curiosity changed how humans see Mars and how humans see themselves. Before Curiosity, Mars was just a question mark. Red, dry, unknown. After Curiosity, Mars became a story. A long story with a beginning, with a middle, and maybe with life. Curiosity proved one important thing. Mars was once habitable, not perfect, but possible. This single idea changed everything. Scientists stopped asking, did Mars ever have life? They started asking, where should we look? Curiosity showed that planets are fragile. Small changes can destroy big worlds. Mars lost its shield. Earth still has it. That difference matters. Curiosity also changed future missions. New rovers were designed, better tools, smarter systems, more questions. Because Curiosity was a pathfinder, it walked so others could follow. One of those followers was perseverance. Stronger, newer, focused on life itself. But perseverance exists because Curiosity succeeded. Every lesson, every mistake, every discovery, Curiosity taught engineers how to land heavy machines. The sky crane was risky, but it worked. Now it is trusted. Curiosity also taught patience. Mars does not give answers quickly. It rewards slow work, careful steps, quiet observation. On Earth, people connected with Curiosity. They followed its journey. They waited for its photos. They learned science without knowing it. Curiosity made space feel closer. Mars felt less distant, less cold, less impossible. The rover also reminded humans of something deeper. Exploration is not about control, it is about listening. Curiosity listened to rocks, to dust, to silence, and Mars answered. Schools talked about Curiosity. Children dreamed of space, not as fiction, but as future. Curiosity showed that machines can extend human reach, go where humans cannot, survive where humans would fail, but it also showed limits. Even the best machine grows old, even the strongest design wears down. Curiosity's wheels were damaged, its systems aged, but its value increased, because meaning does not come from perfection, it comes from effort. Curiosity did not find life, but it found purpose. It turned Mars from a dead planet into a warning, and a a warning that planets can die, a hope that life can begin. Curiosity changed science papers, changed mission plans, changed history books. Mars was no longer just next door, it was a mirror. Humans looked at Mars and thought about Earth, about climate, about protection, about time. Curiosity never spoke these ideas, it just sent data. Humans understood the message. Even today, curiosity continues. Slow, quiet, persistent. Each day it survives is a gift. Each discovery adds meaning. Curiosity may stop one day, its power will fade, its signals will end, but what it changed will not. Mars will always remember its tracks. Earth will always remember its courage. Curiosity was not human, but it carried human spirit, and that spirit now looks forward, toward the final question. If Mars once had life, what happened to it, and could it exist again? The answer may not come from curiosity, but curiosity made the question possible. The rover moved slowly, still working, still watching, because one final story remained, the end, and the future Mars was quiet. It had always been quiet, but this silence now had a witness, curiosity. The rover had been on Mars for many years, longer than planned, longer than expected. Each day was a bonus. Each signal was a gift. Curiosity moved slowly now, not because of fear, but because time had changed it. Its wheels were worn, its body was older, but its mission was still alive. Curiosity did not know it was a hero. It did not know its name was written in books. It did not know children spoke about it. It only knew one thing, work. Every morning, Curiosity woke up under a pale sky. The sun was weak, but enough to keep going. It looked around. The same red land, the same quiet wind, the same empty horizon. Mars had not changed, but humanity had. Because of curiosity, humans now understood Mars. Not as a dream, not as a mystery, but as a real place with a real past. Curiosity had walked through billions of years. It had touched ancient lakes, old rivers, lost worlds. It showed that Mars once had everything needed for life. Water, time, chemistry, but it also showed how fragile a planet can be. One lost shield, one slow change, and everything disappears. Curiosity was more than a robot. It was a messenger from another world. The rover continued sending data. Slow signals, weak signals, but honest signals. Each message said the same thing, I am still here. One day, Curiosity stopped for a long time. Its power was low, dust covered its body. The night was cold. On Earth, scientists waited. They were used to waiting, but this time felt different. Minutes passed, then hours, then a signal arrived. Weak, but alive. Curiosity had survived again, but everyone knew this could not last forever. Every machine has an end, even heroes. Curiosity would one day stop moving, its wheels would rest, its cameras would close, its signals would fade, and Mars would be quiet again, but not empty, because Curiosity left something behind. Tracks in dust, data in memory, truth in history. Those tracks may last millions of years. Mars does not forget easily. Future explorers may find them, human or machine, and they will know someone was here before. Curiosity never returned home. Mars became its home. It never saw Earth again, but Earth never forgot it. Curiosity proved that distance does not stop connection, that silence does not mean nothing, that even a machine can change history. The rover did not speak, but its story spoke loudly. It told humans, explore carefully, protect your world, learn from the past. Mars was once alive in its own way. Earth still is. For now, Curiosity's mission was never just Mars, it was Earth too. As the sun set one last time behind Mount Sharp, Curiosity stood still, facing the horizon. No fear, no regret, only purpose. Mars remained red, cold, silent, but because of Curiosity it was no longer unknown. A small robot on a dead planet changed how humans see the universe. Curiosity answered the desperate call, and became the silent hero of Mars.